Sup YouTube, it's Tom back again with another Get Fit for Cricket video. Today I'm going to follow on from what I was talking about in the first one, which is about hip drive and also getting too far over that knee, and also just discuss ways to things that kill your bowling velocity and don't allow you to make the most of your run-up and therefore make you bowl slower. So first of all, something I really should have said in the first video, these are really just my opinions. I'm a maths student. I would like to think I have a fairly good understanding of the physics of it, but this is very different to putting things into practice. I can talk about all the physics I want, but you might disagree with how things might work in practice. So take on what I say, make up your own mind and decide if you think what I'm saying is rubbish or if I have a point. If you like what I'm saying, don't be afraid to subscribe, all that sort of stuff. So, the point is, if you subscribe to my way of thinking about bowling, it's all about conservation of energy. So conservation of energy says that if you start with energy here in a system, then it's got to be transferred somewhere. And this means that for bowlers, that if you start off with energy in your run-up, i.e. kinetic energy, you can use that energy to bowl faster. So if you imagine that you have a certain amount of energy to start off with running in, then if you could convert all of your energy from your run-up into the ball, then you would have a good biomechanics and you'd bowl fast. Energy is wasted in the system when our biomechanics are poor, or we don't have enough strength to support our body to get into the right positions. So, focusing now on the lower body, there are two ways that I think can negatively affect your bowling velocity with your front foot block. So by front foot block, I mean what your front leg does. So that's the leg that is pointing straight down the crease. And there are two main things that I see people doing wrong when they block, in my opinion, and I'll demonstrate them now. So the first one is that you can imagine I'm left-handed, so this is how I bowl, bowling towards the ball. So they come to the crease side-on position, and then when their hips come through into the right position, so they're front-on facing, what happens is that their front leg, it begins to buckle. So they'll be up to the crease, bowl, and then this sort of front leg collapses. Now the other thing that I see is that when they get side-on into the crease again, are ready to bowl, their hips come through, and then they sort of pivot over the top of that front leg. Now, in the second case, you have to do some sort of pivoting because you're not going to be able to decelerate yourself entirely. But there's still a problem. So, going back to the first one, when the front leg is not braced and straight, so it's not tensed, all the muscles aren't tense, what happens is that you decelerate slower. So when that sort of leg absorbs the energy, it's absorbing energy from the system, and also it's slowing down the deceleration of your body in a horizontal direction, and therefore slowing down your acceleration of your upper body. So mathematically this is called impulse. If your front leg is not braced, i.e. not straight, then your impulse is lower than if it was straight. And we're looking for high impulse because that means everything's moving quicker, the energy is getting transferred quicker. So the front case, it's just a loss of energy, it's an ineffective technique. You're not going to be able to slow yourself down, as in your run-up speed, as effectively as possible, so you're going to see that affecting your bowling velocity. In the second case, what's happening is that because your resultant force is too vertical, your front leg is being used like a pivot. So instead of being like a firm brace and it's like you're hitting, crashing into your front leg in a way, it's like your hip is like forcibly stopped by that braced action. What's happening is like sort of pivots over the top. And this is what happens when the back leg is being driven too far through. And again, what happens here is that you don't decelerate as quickly as you could do, so your impulse is lower, and this affects bowling velocity. So my advice would be, if you go and film yourself and you see that you're doing either one of these things, my advice would be to slow down, not running so fast. Don't worry about accuracy at all, for the moment, obviously. Just focus on making sure that you're not doing either of those two things. I'm a big believer that if you've got technical faults in your bowling action, it just makes sense to go back to as far as you can get it right and then build your way up. It might not be convenient, there's disadvantages to this, but that way you can get your biomechanics right, and then you can seriously see increases in your bowling speed just by correcting your faults. So if you've got that sort of soft front leg, it's not braced, not slowing you down effectively, slow down, make sure you can get that front leg braced, and then build yourself back up. In the second case, don't worry so much about getting over that front leg like a spinner would. You know, you see spinners sort of really rotating over that. You don't want to do that too much as a fast bowler. We just want to make sure on the primary function of that front leg is to just block you, stop you here, and then make sure that energy is transferred to your upper body. Hope I've helped you out. Speak to you soon.